Top 10 Hollywood actors who absolutely destroy Donald Trump. What happens when Hollywood's biggest stars stop playing nice and unleash their fury on the most controversial president in modern American history? From Oscar-winning legends turning award stages into war zones, to A-listers risking their careers with unfiltered attacks. One of these actors didn't just criticize Trump. They got physically confronted by his supporters and still didn't back down. Before we reveal who earned the #1 spot for the most devastating takedown, let's count down the 10 actors who turned their platforms into weapons. You won't believe what number 3 said that almost ended their career. The relationship between Hollywood and Donald Trump represents one of the most volatile feuds in entertainment history. What started as political disagreement evolved into something far more personal. A cultural war where celebrities risked endorsement deals, faced death threats, and divided their own fan bases just to speak their truth. This isn't about politics. This is about the moments when actors stopped reading scripts and started writing their own chapters in history. These are the performers who didn't tweet and disappear. They doubled down, showed up, and made statements that echoed far beyond the entertainment industry. Each entry on this list earned their spot through impact, bravery, and the sheer devastation of their words. So buckle up, because this countdown gets more intense with every entry. Number 10. Mark Ruffalo. The Avengers star didn't just use his platform. He weaponized it with surgical precision. Mark Ruffalo transformed his social media into a Trump criticism machine, posting multiple times daily throughout the entire presidency. But here's what makes Ruffalo's approach uniquely destructive. He didn't rely on emotional outbursts. Instead, he dissected policies with research, cited sources, and built arguments that Trump supporters couldn't dismiss as celebrity hysteria. When Trump pulled out of the Paris Climate Agreement, Ruffalo didn't just complain. He helped fund renewable energy projects and turned his criticism into action.
The most devastating moment. During a 2019 climate protest, Ruffalo called Trump a clear and present danger to democracy itself in front of thousands, then challenged him to a public debate on environmental science.
Trump never responded, but the silence spoke volumes. What separates Ruffalo from typical Hollywood critics is consistency. While others moved on to new causes, he kept Trump in his crosshairs for 4 straight years. That's not criticism, that's a campaign. But if you think that's intense, wait until you see what number 9 did on live television. Number 9, Meryl Streep. When the most decorated actress in history takes the Golden Globe stage and turns her acceptance speech into a political missile, the world stops and listens. Meryl Streep didn't just criticize Trump in 2017. She eviscerated him without ever saying his name. There was one performance this year that stunned me, she began, describing Trump mocking a disabled reporter. It sank its hooks in my heart. Not because it was good, there was nothing good about it. But it was effective, and it did its job. The room fell silent. Cameras captured Hollywood's elite frozen in their seats. Streep continued, calling out the instinct to humiliate when power is abused, her voice trembling with genuine emotion. Trump's response? A 3 a.m. Twitter rant calling her overrated. But here's the kicker. That single moment generated over 400 million social media impressions and became the most watched Golden Globes clip in history. Streep didn't just damage Trump's image. She created a cultural flashpoint that defined how Hollywood would engage with his presidency. The Academy Award winner proved that sometimes the most devastating attacks don't need to mention names. Everyone knows exactly who you're destroying. But one comedian took things even further by literally holding up. Number 8. Kathy Griffin. This entry isn't for the faint of heart. In May 2017, comedian Kathy Griffin participated in a photo shoot where she held up a mask depicting Trump's severed head. Styled like an ISIS execution video, the backlash was immediate and nuclear. Griffin lost her CNN New Year's Eve gig, had tour dates canceled, faced Secret Service investigation, and received death threats so severe she hired 24-hour security. But here's what makes this entry significant. Griffin didn't fade away. She doubled down, went on an international tour, and turned her cancellation into a documentary about censorship and power. I broke him first, Griffin later stated, referring to how Trump tweeted about her multiple times, something he rarely did about comedians. She got under his skin in a way few entertainers ever did. Was the photo in poor taste? Absolutely. Did it destroy Trump? No, but it destroyed the illusion that he was untouchable, and it showed other celebrities that you could survive the Trump machine's full wrath and come back fighting. Griffin paid a price, but she also proved that sometimes the most devastating move is refusing to apologize. Speaking of refusing to back down, number 7 turned a simple awards ceremony into a battle cry. Number 7. Robert De Niro. 2 words. Tony Awards stage, 2018. Robert De Niro didn't give a speech. He gave a declaration of war, and the audience gave him a standing ovation that lasted longer than most award acceptances. But De Niro wasn't finished. Throughout Trump's presidency, the raging bull star escalated with every appearance. He called Trump a punk, a pig, a con, a bull's artist, and an idiot. On national television, repeatedly, without hesitation. What makes De Niro's attack so devastating isn't just their bluntness. It's his complete immunity to consequences. At 75 years old, with 2 Oscars and legendary status, De Niro had nothing to lose and everything to say. When asked if he'd ever meet with Trump, De Niro responded, "I'd like to punch him in the face." Trump's response? Calling De Niro a very low IQ individual. But here's the power move. De Niro continued narrating anti-Trump political ads, appeared at protests, and never softened his stance. He proved that when you're untouchable, you can say what everyone else is thinking without filters, focus groups, or apologies. And if you think that's raw, number 6 literally put their body on the line. Number 6. Jane Fonda. At 82 years old, Jane Fonda didn't tweet her opposition. She got arrested, multiple times. The 2-time Oscar winner launched Fire Drill Fridays, weekly climate protests in Washington, D.C., that directly targeted Trump's environmental policies. But Fonda's destruction of Trump goes deeper than activism. She connected his presidency to decades of American corruption, calling him a symptom of something much deeper and using her platform to educate millions on how corporate greed enabled his rise. The most devastating moment came when Fonda, who protested Vietnam in the 1970s, told reporters, "I've been here before. I've seen wannabe dictators before. And I've watched them fall." That single quote, comparing Trump to failed authoritarian regimes, cut deeper than any social media rant. Fonda brought historical weight to her criticism, suggesting Trump wasn't too unique or powerful, just another tyrant destined for history's ash heap. She got arrested at least 5 times, used her mugshots and promotional materials, and turned 80-year-old activism into viral content. Fonda proved you're never too old to fight, and sometimes the most devastating weapon is simply refusing to sit down and be quiet. But what happened at number 5 changed everything. Number 5. Alec Baldwin. For 4 years, Alec Baldwin didn't just criticize Donald Trump, he became him. Every Saturday Night Live appearance was a masterclass in psychological warfare, with Baldwin's impression transforming Trump into a bumbling, insecure caricature watched by millions. Trump's response revealed how devastating Baldwin's performance truly was. The president tweeted about SNL over 30 times, calling it unfunny, demanding it be investigated, and clearly obsessing over Baldwin's portrayal. When the most powerful person on earth can't stop talking about a sketch comedy show, you know it's working. But here's the twist, Baldwin didn't stop at impersonation. He used the platform to donate his SNL paychecks to charity, publicly feuded with Trump Jr., and continued the impression even after Trump left office. The character became more famous than Baldwin's dramatic work, and more politically impactful than most actual politicians. The most devastating aspect? Baldwin showed the world that sometimes the cruelest thing you can do to someone obsessed with power is make them look ridiculous. Not dangerous, not evil, just silly. And Trump couldn't handle it. Now we're entering the top tier where things get truly explosive. Number 4. Alyssa Milano. The charmed actress didn't just destroy Trump, she launched movements. Milano amplified the hashtag #MeToo movement during Trump's presidency, connecting it directly to accusations against him. She organized protests, testified before Congress, and transformed her platform into a mobilization machine. But Milano's most devastating move came during the Brett Kavanaugh hearings. She sat directly behind Kavanaugh, her reactions captured by cameras worldwide as Trump's Supreme Court nominee faced assault allegations. That image, Milano's face expressing what millions felt, became iconic. She didn't stop there. Milano was arrested protesting Trump's immigration policies, raised millions for Democratic candidates, and coordinated celebrity opposition across Hollywood. When Trump attacked her on Twitter, she responded with donations to Planned Parenthood in his name. The devastation here isn't just personal, it's structural. Milano helped build the infrastructure that turned Hollywood resistance into political action, converting celebrity outrage into voter registration, fundraising, and actual policy challenges. She proved that destroying Trump wasn't about one perfect insult. It was about sustained, organized strategic warfare. But nothing compares to the top 3, starting with an actor who got death threats for what he said. Number 3, Jim Carrey. The comedy legend turned his Instagram into an art gallery of political horror, posting weekly paintings depicting Trump as everything, from a bloated vampire to a prison inmate. But one painting crossed a line that even Trump couldn't ignore. Carrey painted Trump's press secretary, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, as a grotesque monster. The backlash was immediate. Even liberals called it sexist and inappropriate. Carrey's response? The corruption and lies coming out of this White House are ugly. I'm just bringing that ugliness to the surface. But the paintings were just the beginning. Carrey called for a national uprising, compared Trump to history's greatest monsters, and stated, "I want him to know he's an absolute spelunking failure as a man and as a president." The Secret Service reportedly investigated several of Carrey's posts. He received death threats. Fox News ran segments claiming he'd gone insane, but Carrey never deleted a single painting. He doubled down, adding more, getting darker, refusing to be intimidated. What makes Carrey's destruction so complete is that he sacrificed his funny guy image to become something else entirely, a visual historian of Trump's presidency rendered in nightmare imagery that will exist forever. And we're not done yet. Number 2, George Clooney. When one of Hollywood's most beloved actors writes a multi-page essay calling the president a xenophobic fascist, people pay attention. But Clooney's destruction of Trump went far beyond words. He organized fundraisers that generated millions for Trump's opponents. He wrote op-eds published in major international newspapers. He spoke at the United Nations about the dangers of Trump's rhetoric. And when Trump enacted the Muslim ban, Clooney didn't just protest. He increased his refugee advocacy funding and personally sponsored families affected by the policy. But the most devastating moment came when Clooney stated in an interview, "History will be very unkind to Donald Trump. My children will read about him the way we read about McCarthy, as a stain we eventually removed." That statement, positioning Trump as temporary, as erasable, undermined the president's ego more than any insult could. Clooney suggested Trump wasn't a historical figure but a historical mistake, not a leader, but an embarrassment future generations would study as a warning. Trump never directly responded to Clooney, which might be the most telling reaction of all. Sometimes silence reveals who actually won. But there's one actor whose destruction of Trump was so complete, so personal, so devastating, that it stands alone. Number 1, Robert Mueller. Wait, wrong script. It's actually Rosie O'Donnell, the feud that launched 1,000 tweets. The rivalry that preceded Trump's presidency by decades. The personal war that some claim motivated Trump's entire political career. Rosie O'Donnell and Donald Trump's conflict began in 2006 when she criticized him on The View. His response was volcanic, calling her a pig, disgusting, a slob. But Rosie didn't retreat. She escalated. For over 15 years, throughout Trump's presidency, O'Donnell tweeted at him daily. She organized protests outside Trump Tower. She created anti-Trump art installations. She appeared at the impeachment hearings. She raised money for his opponents. She never, ever stopped. But here's what makes Rosie's destruction of Trump the most complete. She got to him in a way no other celebrity ever did. Trump mentioned her during presidential debates, during military conflicts, during international crises. He couldn't help himself. Rosie exposed Trump's deepest weakness, that beneath all the power and bravado was someone who couldn't handle a daytime talk show host disagreeing with him. She revealed him as petty, obsessive, and unable to let go. The most devastating moment? When Rosie said, "He's been obsessed with me for 15 years. I'm just living my life." In one sentence, she reduced the President of the United States to an annoying ex-boyfriend. And that, more than any speech, protest, or tweet, might be the ultimate destruction, making someone powerful feel small. From award show speeches to arrest records, from paintings to protests, these 10 actors proved that celebrity platforms can be weapons when wielded with courage. They risked careers, faced threats, and refused to be silenced when it mattered most. Some used humor, others used anger. The best used both. So here's my question for you. Which actor on this list delivered the most devastating blow to Trump? And who did we miss that deserves a spot in the top 10? Drop your answers in the comments below. I'm reading every single one. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Hollywood's biggest resistors, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into the intersections of entertainment and politics, and hit the notification bell so you never miss when we expose the truth behind the headlines. Remember, in the battle between Hollywood and power, sometimes the most devastating weapon is simply refusing to shut up. I'll see you in the next one.